That, my friends, is me. Doing what I've been doing for a long, long time. For times I even bothered to waste my money on magazines. These are all my mom's magazines. I love to rip the ads out of them. And my mom would say, why do you want to do that? And actually, when I did it with the magazines I had, they were my magazines, I bought them at when I worked. Someone's looked at me strangely. But I guess when it comes to these, my mom's magazines, there's a lot of them. There's no Cosmo down here because I haven't done it yet to her pile of Cosmo. She threw a lot of magazines away. She's like me, she had tons and tons of magazines. Because I want to eventually read all these magazines. That's what I want to do. And I want to eventually read all these magazines and the Cosmos too. And having all those ads out makes it a less daunting task. And I used to do this even when I got my magazines, but when I was with Donald, I didn't feel like really reading magazines, but I did sometimes. My mom got me a subscription to Glamour. I really like Glamour more than Cosmo. I like Self too. Cosmo is just a bit. I just really like Glamour magazine. There's a little bit of everything, including the sex at Cosmo. You know, discuss. These clothes I'm wearing are my mom's, by the way, from when she was thin. I'm Winnie the Pooh on the black shorts, but they fit me. That's the whole point. Anyway, I ripped all these ads of the magazines, but I've also been reading the magazines. It's fun, you know, as I've told you before, to read what it's like for quote-unquote normative people in this life. It's okay as long as I don't stand in front of it and cause a shadow, but you know, I've told you before, these videos are not meant to be glam videos. And they're just meant to be real. I don't ever throw my videos away because they're my thoughts. You know, trial and error. Because I like reading the magazines. They're interesting. You're damaged goods. You're crazy. You're impossible to be with. Those words and then some are, you know, things that I might hear from either sexes, either members of the human community, men or women. The thing is, you know, people have said that to me, you know, Marion certainly has, and all variations of the above. Along with, you're narcissistic, you. Yeah, I know, because it's okay for you to put me down left audacity to my own horn, and even the teeniest little bit I'm narcissistic and full of myself. Whatever. Fuck you. Anyway, all of those words, phrases, and then some of what I'm writing. The thing is, you're not engaging in any great revelation, folks. You understand? You're not telling me anything that I don't already know. Donald was big on that. Donald was damaged goods times a million. And he was brilliant, and he was able to clinically, you know, dissect me in obviously a non-professional way, since he wasn't a professional. I've already told you before, what he came up with is actually the truth. I'm not able to fall in love. What do you say, yo? Because that's not what makes you real. Being touched, to be held, to be that is what makes you feel real. And he's right. It does. It is. And as I've said, the great thing about that is that I can engage in such things and be as fucked up inside as imaginable, and it doesn't matter. But it sure as fuck matters when it comes to love and relationships and long-term and all that stuff, right? So yeah, whether you say it to me snidely or behind, directly snidely, or just behind my back, or, you know, out in the protection of cyberspace, the anonymity, anonymity, whatever, of cyberspace. You're not saying anything I don't already know. You don't understand. At least I'm trying, and at least in my case, it's out there. For example, in these lovely magazines I've read that span all the way back to 2007, some I had at my own farce of a home, whatever, years ago, when I was still with Donald, or just Donald, whatever. I threw a lot of my magazines away, and I didn't read a lot of them as well. Like, I guess probably my mom didn't, but I'm reading them now. I have nothing but time on my hands. Different things I've read in these magazines already, and it's really cool. It teaches me things. Not just about weight loss, which you know is my passion. Weight loss and nutrition, all that kind of crap. I'm sorry. It's not my passion is writing, but my secondary passion is weight loss and nutrition and all that crap. I love that kind of stuff. Recently read in Self Magazine that 4 weeks started. It's just awesome, you know, I like it. But anyway, different things I've read, like this professional athlete, female, her sister, beloved twin sister, who was apparently suffering postpartum depression that nobody knew about, one day just decided to buy a gun and blow her brains and her baby's brains out in the backyard. I think I'd already read that, by the way. I think I got that magazine. My mom's been getting me a subscription for Glamour for quite a while. And what I say to that is, you know, apparently the sister seemed normal and everything was fine, and then that happened. And that can happen sometimes. In that case, it's postpartum depression. Sometimes it's just plain old suicide that has nothing to do with postpartum depression. So, at the very least, I do have a fighting chance. I mean, because I'm out there with it. You know what I mean? I'm not pretending everything's fine with me. I'm not. Every friggin' day is a struggle for me. I've been saying since day one I wouldn't kill myself, and I still believe that's true. But as you guys know or don't know, depending on if you are my long-term followers or fans or whatever, or friends, cyberspace, who I've never met, friends who I've never met, you oh, you know that I've said, you know, that I would never kill myself, but I've engaged in very self-destructive behavior that reached its peak in the last 2.5 years when I was relying on my ex and his mom for a place to stay, and they could both either throw me out at a moment's notice, and then, yeah, you know the whole drill, and if you don't, you can go and find out if you have the time. But it was time to watch my close to 3,000 videos. I don't think so. Most people don't. Another thing I read in a glamour magazine is about Paulina Porskova. Undeniably beautiful. I mean, especially in her prime. She's my age now, you know. Around that. That was an older magazine. Yeah, she's around my age. It was talking about intelligence versus beauty. And she said even she herself has been guilty of, you know, looking at, say, a Playboy Playmate and assuming that Playboy Playmate couldn't possibly hold a PhD. And the thing about that is, a lot of times it is true. It's not a stereotype. A lot of times stunningly beautiful, voluptuous women are either don't have a brain in their head, or at least are not, you know, what we'd consider really smart. What category I fall under? In both categories, you know, I've been called beautiful, I've been called ugly. I mean, I know I'm not ugly, you know what I mean? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Intelligence, a lot of times, can be in the eye of the beholder, but not always, you know. And you can fall on the other end of the spectrum where these models, or really, you know, Playboy Playmates or whatever, are not necessarily dumb as doornails, but that doesn't mean that they're Einsteins, or even semi-Einsteins either. But Paulina was talking about how she was a writer first and foremost. She happens to be stunningly beautiful, and no one would ever take her seriously. Even when she wanted to write her first book, which is getting good reviews, by the way. People just assumed she's having a ghostwriter. She couldn't possibly be smart. That smart. Of course, they'll give you can be a little bit smart. Now, I used to play on it, by the way. I used to play on people assuming I was dumb because of the way I looked. And the thing is, it's especially if you have this kind of voluptuous body. Sylvia Plath was definitely pretty, but would I call her a bombshell? No. Was she undeniably brilliant? Oh, you better fucking believe she was. You know what I mean? And the thing with me, I don't know. Some people out here have called me beautiful and brilliant. But then again, I can't look into their eyes and see if they really believe that. However, I could look into Doug Billings' eyes when I was in my 20s when he said part of my problem with life is that I'm a fucking freak genius. He believed it. Doesn't mean it's true. Does it mean it was true? No. But I could look into his eyes and know he wasn't making it up to get in my pants or whatever. No, he believed it. Flash forward to just a few months ago in the shelter. This black woman, I was telling her about Donald and what an asshole he was, abusive, blah, 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 whatever. And, you know, and telling her, you know, I was really incredible. I looked incredible. I could have any guy I wanted back 12 years ago when I first met him. And she goes, you still can. And I looked at her because